whom you're joined by Creighton head coach Greg McDermott. We'll get started with an opening statement. Again, a reminder to media, if you have a question, please use the raise hand function at the bottom of the dashboard. And when you're called on, please state your name and affiliation first. Coach, if you give us an opening statement, then we'll go to questions.
Well, first of all, congrats to the Zags. Coach Few does a fabulous job. This is the third time in 4 years that we've played him, and I just have the utmost respect for just how they go about their business. How they play the game. They play the game the right way. They're incredibly unselfish. And the names and some of the numbers have changed over the course of the years that we've played them, but their efficiency and their the unselfish nature with the way they play the game has not changed. So credit to them. Obviously, the start of the second half was huge for us. We really felt like, for us to have an opportunity, we had to win that first 4-minute timeout, and instead they were able to take that lead from 10 to 14, and then it's an uphill battle against a team like that.
Thanks, Coach. We'll turn it over to questions from the media. We'll start with John Niatawa. John, please go ahead.
What did they do, Greg, to kind of keep you guys off balance enough offensively, just in terms of, not being able to score with them? I know it's tough to do, but you had some stretches there where it was tough to get buckets.
Yeah, I thought we had some decent looks. I thought DJ had some good looks at threes. Dens did. Mitch missed a couple that he's normally going to make. We missed a few around the rim. But we talked all week like you have to score to play with Gonzaga, and we just didn't score enough. I thought we forced 16 turnovers. And we tried to really protect the paint early in the game and kind of turn them into a jump shooting team, at least in transition. And to their credit, Nembhard in particular really made us pay for that. Him and AI really did a great job hitting some of those shots, and that really kind of forced us to stretch out a little bit more. And once you get stretched out against them, you're asking for trouble because of Timmy's ability to play on the block.
Next, we'll go to Matt DeMarinis. Matt, please go ahead.
Yeah, Matt DeMarinis, White and Blue Review. Mac, when Christian got that second foul, what did you see in terms of how Gonzaga was able to get that separation that really ended up, it kind of turned that 1-2 possession game into a 10-point game from there?
Yeah, I don't know that it was so much, obviously Christian's presence on the floor is huge to us, but I thought Ryan went in and did some good things. We had a stretch in that period of time you're referring to in the first half where we settled for a lot of mid-range shots, and some of them were challenged mid-range shots. Instead of getting deep into the paint, setting our feet, and making some plays, off that jump stop. And Gonzaga makes you do that. They force you into that. But they're not only a good offensive team, they're a really good defensive team.
Next, we'll go to Steve McGargy. Steve, please go ahead.
Steve McGargy, Associated Press. You just said they're not only a good offensive team, they're a really good defensive team. What is it specifically that makes them so effective defensively?
Well, I think they have a lot of interchangeable parts, 1 through 4 certainly, and then when Watson comes in for Timmy, then they switch you 5 ways some, and Watson moves his feet well enough to keep some guards in front. But when Suggs and Kispert, Nembhard, and AI, they can switch screens and switch a pin down and take something away. That can be very disruptive on the defensive end. And then Timmy just kind of controls that paint pretty well. And as I said, it's a different look with Cook because his ability to get up under you defensively, and certainly Suggs can do that as well. But they're not. This is not a one-trick pony. These guys can play on both ends of the floor.
Next, we'll go to Rex Smith. Rex, please go ahead.
Rex Smith, WOWT. Mac, when you guys first got to Indy, you talked a little bit about what this group has meant to you over these past 2 years. Now that this run has come to an end, can you just reflect a little bit about how special these players and this run has been for you?
Yeah, that's what I told them in the locker room. Don't be sad that it's over, but smile because it happened. This 2-year run with this core group is has been incredible. A Big East championship and the celebration that went with that on the floor after we defeated Seton Hall to get a share of the league title last year. And then finishing a few percentage points behind Villanova this year for another championship, getting to the final of the Big East tournament, and then, really blazing a new trail for our program, getting to the Sweet 16. And that took the effort of a lot of people, but those seniors in particular, Jacob Epperson's, talk about perseverance and fighting through adversity. I don't think anybody embodies that any more than Jacob has in my 32 years of coaching, because of everything that he's been through, and he keeps coming back with a smile on his face, and has been such a great teammate. Denzel's willingness to play a totally different role, to embrace that defensive stopper role that was so important in the first two games of this tournament to get us here with the job that he was able to do on McLaughlin and Preston. And Mitch, I've recruited Mitch in 8th grade, and it's hard to believe this is over in a blink of an eye. And while we'll miss Mitch on the basketball floor and in the locker room because he's such a great teammate, I hope someone can fill the void in the community because he's engaged himself in our community with young people, with boosters, like very few guys that have played for us. And then DJ's he's been our heart and soul. He's his energy, his passion, his commitment to improvement has been incredible during the 4 years that he's been here. So I know they're hurting right now, but I hope when this is over, they can look back and appreciate and celebrate the magnitude of what they've accomplished the last 2 years.
Next question is from Matt Foster. Matt, please go ahead.
Matt Foster, KUTV. Mac, how much can a trip to the Sweet 16 help build this program to even greater heights?
Well, it shows what's possible. If you get a group of guys that'll fight for each other and stay committed to a common goal, a lot of special things can happen. And, that's something that I talked with the guys as they were coming off the floor, the guys that are returning next year about, we want to get back to this point. And there's a lot of effort that goes into that and work that goes into that. We'll obviously we're going to lose some really, really good players. And, we've got to regroup from that. But our expectation is that, we want to compete for championships year in and year out.
Next, we'll go back to John Niatawa. John, please go ahead.
Just what was it like, Greg, this last week? It's such a tough challenge to prepare for this Gonzaga team, and you guys are going to dig into all the details. But what did you notice from your guys as you kind of ready for this thing? And, did you have a sense of how they'd come out and play?
Yeah, I think you saw. It was 28-25, 10 minutes into the game, and we were having a hard time stopping them, but they were having a hard time stopping us at that point too. So I think our guys were focused and ready to play and understood what we had to do. And we had to take some chances on some of their guys on the perimeter to try to plug some things up because of their ability to get to the rim in transition and get it to Timmy in transition. We wanted to take Kispert away in the first half in particular. DJ did a great job of that. So our guys were focused. It's challenging because you'd like to be able to celebrate an accomplishment like this in particular with your family, but certainly as well with your friends and your fellow students. And that wasn't possible this year. It was 32 of us on the same hotel floor for going on 3 weeks or 4 weeks, whatever we've been doing it. So, but I think they'll look back and appreciate this and really enjoy the experience as they move forward.
We have time for a couple more questions for Coach. If there are any other questions, please use the raise hand function. We'll get to a couple more. We'll go to Matt DeMarinis next. Matt, please go ahead.
Matt, I guess I know these questions are tough because the emotions are really raw right now, and you probably haven't had time to process it. But as the group as a whole, like when you look back on teams and try to take away things that you'll remember most about them, what is this group? What are you going to appreciate most? Do you think about this group and just the waters they had to navigate in kind of unprecedented times?
Yeah, I think it starts with being picked 7th or 8th to win the league. In our league standings preseason last year, and the focus that they had to prove everybody that was a mistake. and and then this year we were picked to finish second, and sometimes living up to expectations can be more challenging than exceeding expectations, and we were able to do that. When the bell rang, they were ready to go, and I'm really, really proud of them for that. And obviously, we've had to navigate through some tough stuff the last month together, and those were some challenging times. But when you have good people in your locker room, you have a chance to get through those tough times. And I'll forever be indebted to them for accepting me for who I am, and that I'm a person that makes mistakes, and that I'm going to continue to work to be a better person as a result of my mistake.
Next, we'll go to Theo Lawson. Theo, please go ahead.
Theo Lawson with the Spokesman Review in Spokane, Washington. What aspect of the Gonzaga team do you think will make them toughest to beat in the next week and a half?
I the thing that jumps out at me is, Kispert had 2 points at halftime, and we're still down 10. And he's so valuable to what they do, and obviously we committed a lot to take him away. There's so many ways that they can beat you. Obviously they're elite scoring at the basket and at the rim. They had 50 points in the paint on us again today, and that's with us trying to take that part of their game away. So I think it's their balance, and I've said it in preparation for this game. It's one of the best passing teams I've seen, 1 through 5 in that starting lineup in college basketball in a long time. I just think when you make a mistake, they have the patience and they have the ability to make you pay for it because of their ability to pass.
Take one last one from John Niatawa. John, go ahead.
I mean, we've asked you about Marcus a lot this year and the last couple of weeks, but just if you can sum up sort of his tournament run, maybe his March in general, we just seem to be playing really good basketball, led the way for you guys here down the stretch.
Yeah, I mean, it's no secret it's been a journey for Marcus this year because of going back to last March with the injury and really missing most of his off season as a result of that, and then having a setback that was of a different nature in October, where he missed significant practice time leading up to the season, and then he had a little setback during the conference season where he missed a couple of games, and we had to get him kind of back. But I think what you've seen the last month is the Marcus Zegarowski that built upon all the great things that he did last year. And without the injuries that he had to fight through this year, I mean, the guy would have been a slam dunk All-American again, a first or second team, because of he's played at such a high level and he's impacted winning in so many different ways. So he's back healthy. He's got an unbelievable competitive nature that everybody's seen, and has been an absolute pleasure to coach. And he's going to have some decisions to make on his future when the time is right, and we'll support whatever he chooses to do 100%, because he's certainly given his heart and soul to the Creighton Blue Jays, and whether he's back a year or not, we really appreciate the impact that he's had on our program. And before I leave, I'd be remiss if I didn't thank the NCAA and the city of Indianapolis for the job that they've done in hosting this event. Until you're part of the bubble and you see the coordination that goes into something like this, you don't fully understand or appreciate the planning, the organization that it has taken to pull this thing off in a safe way for everybody involved. And obviously it's been an incredible experience for us, and part of the experience being as good as it was is not just the organization and how well it was run. It was the people that we were interacting with, some of our hosts that we were going to on a daily basis with questions, and how they, at the snap of a finger, they were there to help. So this is they've taken an unprecedented, difficult year and created a very positive environment for these young people to try to enjoy what's been a tough year. Because of the time that they've put into this. So, hats off to the NCAA and the city of Indianapolis for doing a first-class job with this tournament.
Thank you for joining us, Coach.
Thanks.
Congrats on a great season. Thank you. We join momentarily by Marcus Zegarowski.
take it off when you sit down.
And we are joined by Marcus Zegarowski, and we'll begin the press conference. Again, for members of the media, please use the raise hand function to indicate that you'd like to ask a question. And when you're called on, please state your name and affiliation first. We'll get started with Matt DeMarinis. Matt, please go ahead.
Hey, Marcus. When you experience what it's like to play against Gonzaga, what's different about preparing for them versus actually getting on the floor and just seeing the pace and the way that they go about doing what they do?
Yeah, they play so fast and they're so efficient, with everything they do. Like, there's no lapses. You just can't take not even a play. You can't take a second off versus them, or else they're gonna make you pay. And it's tough to beat. That's what it comes down to. It's a tough team. It's one of the best teams I ever played. But congrats to them.
Next, we'll go to John Niatawa. John, go ahead.
Yeah, John Niatawa with the Omaha World Herald. Marcus, was it disheartening to not see some shots fall? Not necessarily you in particular, but your team. I mean, you guys created some good looks in the first half, but they just didn't go down. And then, you look at the scoreboard, you're down 10 at half. Did that impact you guys at all?
I don't think so. The game is a make or miss game, but we're gonna miss shots. I think we're good enough to still miss shots and still, win games, and we've shown that this year. It's just, obviously against a team like that, at this time of the tournament, the Sweet 16, you would want to have some of those shots going. All of us, including myself. But it happens, and like I said, congrats to Gonzaga.
Again, for media members, if you have a question, please use the raise hand function. We'll get to as many as we can. Rex Smith, your line's open. Go ahead.
Rex Smith, WOWT. Marcus, it's been a heck of a 2-year run from you guys, going back to last year with the Big East Championship in the regular season, then losing the tournament, you having a surgery, coming back this year, dealing with all the stuff you've dealt with, the pandemic and everything. Can you just kind of talk a little bit about what this 2-year run has been like for you guys?
Yeah, it's been incredible. I'm just so proud of everybody on this team. These past, even guys who were on the team last year, they're a part of this. They're the reason why we're here as well. And I'm just so proud of everybody. And I think we played our hearts out. I just want to say thanks to all the fans who just kept supporting us, and through tough times and through everything, especially for me, for my injury. You guys, just always help me get through it. And just sorry we couldn't go further, but it is what it is, and I'm happy with it. I'm happy for my teammates.
Matt Foster, please go ahead.
Matt Foster with KETV. Marcus, obviously this season has been anything but normal from the regular season to the tournament. So when you look back on this year and your tournament experience, how will you kind of remember this season?
It was a grind, and it just, I'm just, like I said, I'm so proud of everybody involved. It was such a tough year, and we didn't miss a game. That's, I think, we're one of the only teams in the country that be able to do that, and guys were really on point, not only on the court but off the court. And my competitive side is probably be pissed off because we lost, but that's life. You're gonna lose in life, and now what's the next step, man? It happens.
Next, we'll go to Theo Lawson. Theo, please go ahead.
Theo Lawson with the Spokesman Review in Spokane, Washington. Was there something you guys were trying to take away from Gonzaga that maybe freed up some of their three-point shooters for a lot of open shots there?
We noticed that, they get a lot at the rim. All 5 of their players, they get easy layups and easy baskets at the rim. And we wanted to, really pack the paint in and try and make them beat us by taking jump shots. But they obviously hit shots. They got hot early and kind of kept that going. But, a team like that, you kind of got to, they just don't beat themselves. And it's tough, It's hard to explain, but it was their night tonight. It's life, it was their day.
Next is a follow-up from Matt DeMarinis. Matt, please go ahead.
Marcus, I know the future's uncertain, especially what you guys just went through. I mean, but is there something that in particular that you're gonna, or a few things that you're gonna appreciate about this run and just the kind of way you guys finished the season out? And I know it was a goal to make history, and you did that. So even though it hurts right now, is there something you're gonna appreciate about what you guys were able to do?
Yeah, everything. I appreciate everything. Well, this is, we'd be in hotels for 20 hours of the day. We wouldn't go outside for a few days. Like it was a grind, but I wouldn't want to do it with any other group of guys. And it was something I'll remember for the rest of my life. What we went through. It's definitely hard on the mental, and it's something none of us have ever experienced. But like I said, I wouldn't want to do it with any other group. And yeah.
The next question is a follow-up from John Niatawa. John, go ahead.
Yeah, John Niatawa with the World Herald. Marcus, I mean, I know we're asking the questions and you're being respectful and answering them, but it does seem that you've been able to sort of kind of see the big picture. Like, knowing you, I know how competitive you are and how much this loss stings, but yet you've been able to sort of appreciate sort of the long run, the long journey that you guys have been on together. Does that surprise you at all? Just that ability to kind of like, see the whole deal here in this moment where it's, really painful and it stinks obviously to lose.
Yeah, I've come a long way when it comes to that. The old Marcus would have been crying over there probably. I don't know, but yeah, it's just something that Coach Mack has taught me, through since I've been here, and just being around people who, really who know who's been in my position. My parents, my older brother. It's in life, you're gonna lose. That's just what it comes down to. You'll probably fail more times than you succeed, but you can't succeed without failing. And that's life. And the character of a man is how you bounce back from this. And I know everybody in that locker room, wants to, bounce back. Everyone's hurting. Obviously, as a competitor, you lose and you have that fire inside of you. But bigger picture, we had a season. We got to play in a great environment in front of our fans, and it was like I said before, my twin brother basically got his season canceled, and he just had like 3 games, just exhibition games, and that don't really count for anything. So how can I complain about the situation that I'm in when he's going through something like that? And I was just happy to be able to have a season and to be able to make history during this season is something special and something I'll never forget. And I'm just so proud of everybody involved.
Next question is from Matt Foster. Matt, please go ahead.
Marcus, I know you have some important decisions ahead of you, but what did it mean to you personally to be able to represent Creighton and play for the Blue Jays on this national stage and represent the university?
Oh, it's everything. This is the best decision of my life to come to Creighton. It was a gutsy decision. It's so far from home and something different. It's a whole different lifestyle out here. Different people, but I fell in love with it when I got here, and I always have a place in my heart. It's just family over here. Everybody in Omaha. It's my second home, and I wouldn't be the man or player today without this program. And I love everybody here. I love Coach Mack. I love the whole staff, all the players that came through here. I'll always have love for it.
We have time for one final question for Marcus, if there is one. All right, Marcus, appreciate your time today. Thanks for joining us, and congrats on a great season.
Appreciate you guys.
Thank you. That'll conclude the Creighton post-game news conference. A transcript of Coach's interview will be provided by ASAP Sports at ncaa.com/transcripts. You can also find a recording of this press conference in the NCAA Digital Media Hub at ncaa.veritone.com. Again, that's ncaa.veritone.com. Thank you.